In order to kill the Demon King, the man voluntarily sealed himself in the abyss for 100,000 years. For 100,000 years, he didn't eat, drink, or go to the bathroom. Until the last iron chain broke, the ice on his body completely melted. But at this moment, there was no blood in his eyes, but only sadness. He wanted to vent his anger, but he found that he had been sealed for tens of thousands of years, and his throat had already lost his voice. He couldn't make a sound at all. Leaving 3 flowers can increase the lifespan by 10 years, plus 5 years for a thumbs up. Suddenly, he felt a terrifying smell from afar. He took off his binoculars without hesitation and looked forward. Bacchus just took a look at his opponent's outfit, and a cold sweat came out of his back. Because the breath of this person in front of him has already exceeded the limit that the warrior's body can bear, this extremely terrifying breath can only be reached by the Demon King. At this time, Bacchus finally understood why the Federation would release him. They wanted to let themselves go against the monster called Jin Mingzhu. Even if they fail to take Jin Mingzhu's life, it can also slow down the speed of his destruction of the world. But Bacchus thought that the Federation was underestimating themselves, because he didn't intend to kill the Demon King. Bacchus planned to brainwash the Demon King to become his own subordinate. 2.5 hours later, Bacchus came to Jin Mingzhu. He began to brainwash Jin Mingzhu. "Young man, don't be afraid. I understand your pain very well. I know you hate this world very much. You hate this cold and heartless world. That's why you fell into the hands of the Demon King. You want to destroy this world." Jin Mingzhu stood still after hearing this and stopped moving forward. Bacchus saw this scene with a smiling face. He stopped and said that he was shaken. As long as he works harder, he can fully gain his trust. At that time, he will be able to turn him into his own subordinate. It's like a puppet being manipulated by himself. After that, Bacchus began to give crazy speeches and brainwashed Jin Mingzhu. He was proud to think that Jin Mingzhu was about to become his subordinate. At the next moment, a knife flashed by. His tongue was stuck. Bacchus held his tongue with his hands and spit out a big mouthful of blood. He looked at Jin Mingzhu with disbelief. He didn't understand why his power would suddenly disappear. As a matter of fact, as long as someone listens to him, his heart vibrates. Bacchus can turn him into his subordinate and let him do whatever he wants. But this power doesn't work on Jin Mingzhu. He looked at Jin Mingzhu's empty eyes. He suddenly realized that he had made a mistake. Jin Mingzhu, who became the Demon Queen, completely lost his humanity. He brainwashed him through his speech. It's like playing the piano to a cow. It doesn't work at all. Jin Mingzhu didn't give Bacchus any time to react. He gently rubbed his fingers. At the next moment, Bacchus's skull burst open. But Bacchus didn't die. He was reincarnated into a nearby soldier. This is his second skill. Unless all the believers around him die, otherwise he can use the bodies of those believers to revive. Bacchus scratched his neck with his hands. Although I don't want to cater to the ideas of the Federation, I will never allow you to destroy this world. Because my goal is to unify this world, to become the supreme ruler in this world. And now, as long as I kill you, no one in this world can stop me anymore. At the next moment, Bacchus turned all the believers around him into war weapons. Countless bombs were washed toward Jin Mingzhu like raindrops, but it still couldn't harm him. Jin wanted to end the battle as soon as possible, so he gently waved his fingers. At the next moment, countless soldiers' bodies exploded instantly. Bacchus saw the scene and was stunned. He thought that the speed of soldiers' death was faster than the speed of cultivating their followers. And worse, the population in the world was limited. Even if he turned all the people in the world into his followers, could he kill the monster in front of him? Jin Mingzhu is now out of the realm of the brave. He is a complete demon. Bacchus was more and more panicked. He felt a deep fear from Jin Mingzhu, so he had the idea of running away. He wanted to get out of this unominous place as soon as possible. The believers around him saw him run away. The faith in their hearts began to waver. When they saw Jin Mingzhu's face again, they hurriedly ran. While Bacchus was running away, his legs were cut by the soldiers who had run away. He fell to the ground. At this moment, he was extremely scared. He begged Jin Mingzhu to give him another chance. "Now the only one who can fight you is me. If you kill me, no one can play with you anymore." Jin Mingzhu's eyes were still cold after hearing this. His expression did not change at all. Jin Mingzhu waved his hand gently. At the next moment, Bacchus's body was instantly crushed to pieces. He watched Bacchus die in front of him. Jin Mingzhu sighed for a long time. The troublemaker was finally solved. He could finally continue to destroy the world. Just when he thought about it, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his arm. He was shocked and opened his eyes. Bacchus looked back. He saw Chengjun holding a knife on his arm. "I said that I would at least cut off your arm." As his strength increased, a sharp arrow struck Jin Mingzhu's arm. Chengjun was extremely confident in this move. Because of this move, he practiced it hundreds of thousands of times. In order to wait for this day, he forged his own sword countless times. After thousands of training, both the defense of the devil and the protection of the goddess can have a 99% chance of success. So he believed that he could definitely cut off Jin Mingzhu's arm. Unexpectedly, after the smoke disappeared, Jin Mingzhu stood still perfectly. But Chengjun's attack did not end there. At the next moment, Jin Mingzhu's right hand was entangled by countless black threads. Jin Mingzhu struggled desperately to get rid of the shackles, but no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't help it. His arm was like a jar of molasses that couldn't be moved at all. He looked back in confusion. He found that behind him was a dead god shrouded by the god of darkness. And this was the hidden treasure that Chengjun summoned from the underground city. It was only when he reincarnated tens of thousands of times that he found it. As long as the devil strengthened the weapon failure, there was a certain probability to summon the hidden treasure of the underground city. In order to wait for this day to come, he is constantly using the devil to strengthen his weapon just to summon all the hidden bosses of the underground city to be his dream. At the next moment, wearing a red armor, the Golden Saint warrior held the giant sword and went towards Jin Mingzhu. Just when the giant sword was about to touch Jin Mingzhu gently raised his hand and grabbed the giant sword with his bare hands. With the crackling sound, the Golden Saint warrior and the giant sword turned into shattered blood. Chengjun saw this scene and smiled bitterly. No wonder he is Jin Mingzhu. His strength is even more terrible than he imagined. But Chengjun didn't give up. He launched the third attack again. This time, he summoned 3 underground city bosses at once. Faced with a fierce attack, Jin Mingzhu kept dodging. Unexpectedly, Chengjun suddenly appeared behind Jin Mingzhu like a ghost. He moved the giant sword in his hand towards Jin Mingzhu's pika. Jin Mingzhu didn't dodge, but grabbed Chengjun's weapon with his bare hands. As soon as Jin Mingzhu gently waved his hand, a mark was drawn in the air. At the next moment, the sharp blade went towards Chengjun's pika. Chengjun saw that the situation was not good and immediately hid himself. The underground city bosses on the other side could not survive. Their bodies burst into flames in the air like shattered crabs. As time went on, the battle between the two became more and more intense. But after hundreds of rounds, there was still no winner. And the reason why Chengjun could fight with Jin Mingzhu is because he made the best attack route. So far,
Li Chengjun has fought with Jin Mingzhu tens of thousands of times. In the process of fighting, he also died tens of thousands of times. Every time he was about to be killed by Jin Mingzhu, he committed suicide and triggered the passive reincarnation. In order to successfully commit suicide in the battle, Li Chengjun tied a bomb with destructive power on his waist. Whenever he was about to be killed by Jin Mingzhu, he would detonate the bomb to kill himself. In the 100,000th return, Li Chengjun's hands began to tremble because his heart was shaking. He began to question whether it was necessary to do so. Obviously, the devil was right in front of him. He just had to stand still and let the devil kill him. In this way, his goal would be achieved. But in order to be able to restore the world to its original state after his death, did he really have to pay such a big price to do something that had nothing to do with him? As the cycle of reincarnation went on, Li Chengjun's consciousness became more and more blurry. At this moment, his mental strength has been completely cured. In the eyes of the bystander, Li Chengjun and Jin Mingzhu were evenly matched. But only Li Chengjun knew that in just 2 minutes, he had actually died hundreds of thousands of times. In the 100,000th return, Li Chengjun determined to give up and fight against Jin Mingzhu. He didn't plan to care about this world anymore. He just wanted to die quietly now. Just when he was desperate, a voice suddenly came to his mind and kept persuading him not to give up. Otherwise, you'll regret it in the future. After hearing this, Li Chengjun shed tears of despair. But I couldn't hold on. Obviously, as long as I was killed by the devil, I could end my reincarnation. But now, in order to cut off the devil's arm, I repeatedly reincarnated. What does the future of this world have to do with me? Why do I have to save this world? Obviously, I don't have to do this. Li Chengjun's body sighed for a long time. Even if you really plan to die this time, don't you want to be your true self? Li Chengjun stood still for a moment after hearing this. This is when he realized that since he woke up from his reincarnation, he had never lived for himself. All he thought about every day was how to create the devil to kill himself. But he forgot that in addition to the ability of reincarnation, he also had the ability like other warriors. But these years, he has never used it because he can reincarnate infinitely. And now Li Chengjun decided that even if it costs his life, he should be himself.